final episode, which is just simply the map show off. Sponge Running, thank you very much for watching. Map. Okay, hold on. I got all the episodes right here. Okay. So 17, 18, 19, 20. So, welcome to part 20 of my Kaiserreich Let's Play of the Empire of Japan, which is simply my map show-off episode. So, here is the political map mode. In part 19, there were 3 wars going. Yeah, 3 wars going. The Second Great South American War, the war between the Russian hegemony and the Eastern Bloc, and also the war between Georgia and Turkey. So let's just go ahead and talk about this one. La Plata won. I just simply said they won. It honestly could have been either way, but I just chose them. So here's the new ruler of Brazil. The Peru-Bolivian Confederation. I was really hoping that they would form that in the time that I did this episode. So here's the Peru-Bolivian Confederation. Pretty cool looking. La Plata, just directly annexed Chile and all the this land right here, which is Rio Grande. So there you go. The war between Georgia. Georgia surprisingly won, and it looked like they were gonna win. Like, I honestly really didn't think that Turkey was gonna win, and that would have been pretty interesting. But I believe that this makes it even more interesting than Georgia is. Why? Well, simply because of the fact that it will be known as the only successful communist state other than Greece, but Greece just showed up. They just had their revolution. I went ahead and had them have a revolution because of the fact that I didn't know what to do with them. Then it made it more interesting. It'll show why, I believe that it would be pretty interesting whenever I turn on the faction mode, but there you go. So Turkey is a puppet of Georgia. Georgia also annexed some land. I think that's a real guy, by the way. I think that is one of the people who was in Stalin's inner circle, if I remember correctly. I'm surprised that Stalin isn't in this, because in one of my playthroughs, I forgot which, actually I don't want to spoil it, because I think I do remember which. Never mind. So yeah, there's their flag. Looks pretty cool. Is there anything? Oh yeah. 2 different empires really became broken in this playthrough. That is one, the Russian Empire, who lost so many wars. That guy's in power again. Who lost so many wars. I think like 3 or 4 wars, I believe. In this playthrough, it's pretty ridiculous. And also the USA. The USA actually ended up having the potential to become pretty freaking strong, but they just had the unluckiness to. They had the sucky luck that they ended up getting into a revolution. Joining the co-prosperity sphere. They tried to add them back into it, but they tried to annex them back, but it just didn't work, and that's what ended up happening. You know, they were just unlucky. Um, and is there another one that I'm not thinking about? I mean, honestly, the German Empire, they can recover. You know, Russia, however, he's broken beyond repair. Like, and it's already been, like, I thought that maybe, just maybe, he can pull through against the Eastern Bloc, which was these countries right here, but it just didn't seem to be the case. He was even starting to lose, you know, in my last episode, so I just simply made it to where he did lose, because it just didn't look like he was going to win, so there you go. I mean, he might have been able to pull through, but it was unlikely at that point. However, if he did, what it ended up happening was he would have gained all this land. And then I might have been not in trouble, but it would have just costed another war. And then he could have ended up going against Finland and getting all this land. In fact, the Russians could have just stopped worrying about Siberia, and they could have just ended up just taking over Europe, which would have been pretty screwed up. But it would have been a possibility. I would not actually. Whenever we look at the factions map mode, it becomes more apparent why they would probably have ended up doing that. Anyways, here's the co-prosperity sphere in the end. As I said, I control pretty much all of Asia except for this land right here. And that is land that I never even wanted to have transmirror control. By the way, as I said in one of my previous episodes, I just made it to where transmirror existed in my last episode, where this guy can't die for the 90th time. So there you go. Anyways, back to the faction map modes. So yeah, the Axis still exists. The Turkish hegemony was replaced with the Georgian hegemony. War between the Georgian hegemony and the Bulgarian hegemony. I wish I knew how to say that word right. Is probably going to happen. I see it happening, at least. And that would extend communist control over pretty much all of the Balkans, except for that. And a pretty decent chunk of the Middle East. Then I suppose that they would just make their way through the Middle East and, you know, extend their influence there. Man, I cannot believe that Georgia won that war, because it said that Turkey had 55 and this guy only had 12. So I still have no idea how they ended up winning that war, but they did. They did. So here's Europe now. The Eastern Bloc won, so it has a bigger influence. In fact, now the Eastern Bloc has a greater chance of actually showing some power. I mean, it's not. See, the difference between the Mediterranean Bloc, the Middle Bloc, and the Northern, that's different. And the Eastern Bloc, the difference between the Eastern Bloc and those two is the fact that it's made up of a bunch of different countries, but together they're strong. And that is basically, whenever I was making these blocks and selecting which countries were going to be in which, I was like, that sounds pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. I'm going to do that. So I did it. And I don't know. There's just something cool about that. You know, that, yeah, these guys can take on this guy no problem. But you see, the problem is he has to go through all these guys. I don't know. They honestly all look up just about the same in power-wise. Especially, even the Entente is comparable to this. Because in the end, the Entente is going to consist of Mexico. Wow, somehow they are... Huh. Anyways, the Entente is going to consist of Mexico also because of the fact that they're in a war. So it's going to consist of Mexico, Canada, and England, and also these islands right here. Which, by the way, war is possible between the Northern Bloc and the Entente, what's left of it. So that should be pretty interesting. War is potential to any of these guys. All of them have a reason to go to war with each other, which is the reason. That's exactly how I meant to set it up too. Because Germany could want its parts of Poland, and then he could also want to establish complete dominance of Europe once more. And that's honestly the tone that I wanted in this playthrough. It's still the old world, because empires still exist, and they're going to exist because the fact that is their source of power. That is their that's how they project their power, is colonies. Because of the fact that Asia, all of Asia right here, pretty much like half the world, pretty much, is out of their control now. Their only expansion, an easy expansion, is Africa now. And they already, they already have all of it except for Abyssinia. But Abyssinia it's pretty much always independent for some reason. By the way, he joined the Mediterranean bloc, so then, with the hopes of gaining this land right here. So there you go. So yeah, pretty cool stuff, I think. All right. So that concludes the end of my playthrough. I'm not going to exactly reveal why I had it like that, but it's a pretty funny reason, actually. And what some of you are probably thinking right now, no, it's not that. But as I said in my previous playthrough, or not my previous playthrough, but a couple episodes ago, the thing about how I wanted Japan's history to go into is this Japan had no intention of conquering all of Asia. Yeah, it conquered a lot of Asia, but it didn't conquer all of it. And in fact, it even cooperated with other nations to the point to where they openly gave land to its allies, such as Thailand and Tibet, Afghanistan, even though that, Afghanistan was our enemy, but whatever. Mongolia and Transmere. They united the entire Stan region. They made a Central Asian Confederation. See, the Code Prosperity Sphere in our timeline is different in the fact that it wasn't meant... See the co right there? This time, the co actually means more. Because it's meant for everyone. We want everyone to be successful. Some countries will probably become more successful than others, such as McLeek and Yunnan. But in the end, each and every one of these countries were better off, except for McLeek and Mongolia is pretty much the same. It has this land right here. But each and every one of these countries were better off than they were in the very beginning. And
that's the difference between the code prosperity sphere of our timeline and the code prosperity sphere of this timeline. And the fact that I'm popping my drugs here. Popping pills. Is I feel like this is a more tame Japan. Yeah, I've conquered a crap ton of land, but it's no different than what the European countries have done. You know, because the green is the land that I directly control. All these guys are either one, my puppets, or two, independent countries. And the thing about the puppets is I'm planning on just letting them become free in the future. You know, and if I could, I would let them be free right now, but that's the game doesn't allow that mechanic, so. Anyways, this has been my playthrough as the Empire of Japan. If you like what you see, don't forget to like and subscribe. Becoming a part in the process, and take it easy.